Welcome to part 5 of our own Uniqueness series. In this YouTube live stream series, Maida and I are going to be focusing on networking, focusing basically on how to break through the social, cultural, and professional barriers. And it would also be interesting to hear your perspective about how you feel about networking. Before I start, my name is Chico, and this is Maida. And ironically, we met also via networking.
Yes, we did. We did.
Okay, so our networking was online, and it was strategic and based on connecting with in a women's group, and that's how we've ended up here. We took a mini hiatus due to me not feeling well, but we're back to our usual Friday recordings of this series. And if you haven't had the opportunity to watch our previous series, do feel free to go back to our respective YouTube channels to watch at your own time, at your own leisure. I don't know if you've ever heard this statement, moving on into the networking session that we're going to discuss. If you've ever heard this statement, I'm going to read it out. If you want to get clients and business, you better start learning how to golf. That used to be a statement that was casually made to new employees, especially on the trading floors in the corporate sector. Does that sound right to you or resonate with you? Okay, so I'm shaking my head. Okay, so in corporate tradition, especially when it comes to networking in professional settings, it was often viewed as a boys club concept, and today there's still some parts of corporate sectors where, especially male-dominated industries, where networking can still be viewed as being part of the boys club due to the different dynamics. And you also find that just in terms of networking for men and women, it's different. For men, culturally or socially, you will find that men can easily extend their networking from like a professional setting into a sports-related environment, or going off to the pub or bar, whichever you may call it. And that develops a different type of bonding for them in terms of the opportunities that are presented to them. While for women, it's a different dynamic where we may go to other different social environments or networking environments due to different commitments. Okay, so this is what we're going to be exploring. So to start off with, going to be asking you just a few questions just to get you thinking about your own experience about how you feel about networking. So the first question is, do you have to be part of the boys club in order to form networking relationships or to benefit from them? And this also applies when it comes to getting promoted or recognized for your position. Okay, so number 2 is, how can you break through the cultural and social barriers of networking? Then number 3, how can introverted people network? And I'm one of those individuals who's classed, although I attend networking events, as classed as somebody who's introverted, and Maida is similar as well. So from our perspective, the short answer to the questions that I've asked you before is that whether you're a career woman or female entrepreneur, it's about how you own your own uniqueness as well without it feeling forced, especially when you're going into different networking environments. So on that note, I am going to hand over to Maida for us to go into the discussion bit and explore how to break through or give examples about how to break through limitations of networking. And it's also about shared experiences too.
Thank you, Chico, and welcome to this very interesting discussion because, as Chico mentioned, we are both, Chico and I, introverts. I am also a very shy person, and I'm going to tell you, I really, really hate the idea of networking. And I'm going to give you some pointers why we think that networking does not work for us. And Chico will chime in as well during this discussion, because me and her, we also have our own good and bad experiences about networking. So first of all, as I was mentioning, for me, networking is really intimidating. I'm reserved, Chico is introverted. We don't see ourselves, or at least me, I don't feel worthy in a way to go and ask an expert some questions or ask their opinions. I feel that I need to be at par with somebody else in order to be admitted into their circle and not be rejected. The second thing that always comes to mind why networking really sucks, I'm sorry for the word, but it really does, it's because it has maybe not been helpful to you in the past. And this would have meant that you would have put a lot of effort in it and you didn't have any results. Or even worse, is you might have felt exploited, taken advantage of, as in, these people who contact you and ask and ask and ask, and all of a sudden, when you need anything from them, they just fall off the face of the earth. And you feel it's very one-sided and you feel taken advantage of. But right now, we are here to tell you one part of this, why these ideas might not be true for you anymore, and how to reframe networking. And Chico?
In terms of reframing networking, it's looking at it from like an operational and strategic level, looking at the benefits that you can actualize for yourself. I'll just give examples of where your current situation might be. So you might be networking in environments which are familiar to you because it's convenient and easier in terms of not having to confront certain fears. So familiar environments where in most cases is that you won't challenge yourself mindset-wise to move through those challenges of connecting with people who are unfamiliar. Okay, because going to unfamiliar environments can be nerve-wracking. Or you might also be networking in a sense of in a passive way where you send messages via LinkedIn, for instance. So this is like a passive way of networking where emotionally you're not really invested as much as you would if you were in a physical environment and meeting in an environment where you had to invest networking with unfamiliar people. The likelihood is that in this given environment, because you're comfortable, you're not challenging yourself mindset wise to overcome certain fears of engaging in other different environments, which would challenge you more. Okay, so that can also lead to different types of emotions. Emotions such as being ignored or worse, because if you're not connecting with people on an authentic level and it's passive, and it's copy and paste type of like networking messages, then the likelihood is that you're not developing the authentic relationships that you want to benefit from. Or you might come from this perspective where you find that networking is boring and it's useless for you. But then at the same time, you may feel that although it's boring and useless, you're not getting the opportunities that you would like to receive. And you're missing out on that as a result of not engaging in networking environments. So there's a conflict there as well. Your experience might also be something probably Major can also expand on as well, is that you may see, as she referred to before, networking as painful. Okay, so Major, would you like to explain that a little bit more?
Oh yes, networking is painful. First, because it starts in the head as an idea that it's going to be painful. So we go into this kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. We start imagining ourselves, or me at least, let me tell you, I start imagining myself as getting into a room with a lot of people, and in my head, they all know each other, they are all friends, and I'm this kind of like little piece that come from out of nowhere. and I'm going to go and talk to them. So I have to break their conversation, and I will have to have an elevator, how do you call that? The elevator argument, ready to sell my stuff. And I don't want to sell, and I'm not a salesperson. So all of these ideas that we have created on networking, and I keep compounding them in my head on and on and on. And the more I think it's painful, and guess what? The more it will be painful even to consider it. But Chico, you and I, we know, and that's why we're having this discussion, is that what it takes really is just to see networking a bit from a different point of view. And the same way we said, networking is not a boys club. It's not. It's not about going into these closed places, where you have all of these gentlemen drinking their whiskey and a cigar and breaking deals. What if us as women, we see it more as something that is close to what we like, which is being part of a community?
Mm-hmm.
So, Chico, we talked about networking as an opportunity, and you have a lot to say about that too.
Yes, I see networking also as part of being strategic. There's that part where Maida is talking about there's all these emotions going on about how you will show up as your best version. And for me, it's always been that it feels uncomfortable, but it's also about being intuitive, strategic, and riding with the emotions. Although it may feel like anxiety ridden, it's also an opportunity to go with the flow and intuitively connect with people you have never met before. Because the thing is, you never know something that, based on connecting with somebody that is new or in a new network setting, the opportunities that it may bring for you. Okay, so the opportunities to generate new ideas, to also unlock that mindset where you might have been stuck or fearful. When you cross that threshold, then it becomes something that is more exciting. Okay, and it's also an opportunity as well to connect with people who bring a mutually reciprocal, valuable friendship, okay, and supportive one. And this is something that both Maida and I have experienced in terms of connecting online or offline in our network circle as well. What other benefits do you see, Maida?
Yes, I think you covered around 90% of it. I'm going to say that whatever happens, you're always making choices. And this is also a way to train ourselves to make choices coming from an aligned place. Is that not everything has to be transactional, although when you network, it is transactional. But if we reframe this, as you said, and if we go into I'm really interested into learning what other people do or where they're coming from and what are their experiences. And I'm interested into sharing mine. I'm interested into making an impact. I'm interested into becoming part of a community where I feel there's a lot of, as you said, reciprocity. There is a lot of mutual benefits for all of us. It's a give and take. It's a two-way. It's not one-sided. And what I have found as well is that it's me again. It brings me to a place where I feel a bit more trusting, with discernment, obviously, all the time. But I'm more trusting into knowing that there are people that I can feel close to. There are people out there that I can trust. There are people out there I can build with, and it's not only people taking advantage of me. This is, feeling victimized or what have you, but there is really an exchange of ideas. And to transition to the next step of our discussion, Chico and Chico, we have discussed about steps on how to network in an aligned way that feels good for us and doesn't feel forced. As you said, it doesn't feel iffy. It doesn't feel like we're selling ourselves or selling something, but we feel we are coming from a place of integrity.
Definitely.
And it's also redefining the old traditional types of networking as well. That it's not only limited to specific people who are experts, people who are extroverts, or people who are senior management. Okay, it's the opportunities are there for you, especially when you go beyond those self-limiting beliefs. And one of the things that I've discovered through networking is that not everybody needs to be your contact. Okay. And it's about how you value yourself in terms of, I don't know if you've ever heard this saying, your network is your net worth. So it's where you want to go to in terms of your career progression, or it's also where you want to in terms of your entrepreneurship journey. What benefits do you want to actualize? And also expand your knowledge in order to grow as a person as well. Okay, I don't know if there's anything else that Maida you want to add to that.
I'm going just to add a quick little thing, and it goes for not only networking, but it goes for everything that we do, is to come from a place of curiosity. As we said, is to come from a place of wanting to meet new people, of wanting to be a better listener. We get it. I mean, networking is awkward for everyone. And if you come from a place where you know that everybody is feeling a bit awkward, nobody likes to be rejected, nobody likes to sell themselves, nobody likes the same things that you dislike. And as you said earlier, Chico, just go with the flow, be open-minded, and go with the idea that you are here to learn and know about new people.
Definitely. And you've summed it up very well. As part of this session as well, just to as a reminder, is that we do provide key takeaways, so additional information in terms of questions that will help you to prepare for networking, for example, or enable you to think about how you show up as your best self, challenge yourself more. That if you're looking, for example, for like a senior management position, how can you step into that environment in order to overcome those challenges and learn from the people who've already been there, done that? And remember, not all experts are experts. You also bring value, which is worthwhile. And that's what we've been discussing all along. It's about how you show up as being uniquely you. That's the value that you bring.
And that's the wisdom we're taking from this, and that we should really remind ourselves all the time as well, is that we are all unique. We need to know what makes our uniqueness and to own it.
Definitely. Okay.
Thank you, Chico.
Thank you too. Look out for our next series where we'll be talking about more about how to own your own uniqueness. Thanks for watching.